As a passenger, the 2015 Standard G Axia proved to just be terrible. However, since then, Perodua has facelifted the Axia not once but twice, in 2017 and in 2019 respectively. So the question is, has the facelift models fixed some of the many complaints I had with the pre-facelift model? Or perhaps, has the facelift model introduced new flaws? Flaws such as the fuel filler cap release lever, dirt that accumulates along the bottom of the rear window, and that brake light position behind the rear glass are flaws I don't expect a facelift exercise to fix. These flaws will require an all-new generation Axia. However, those are just some of the many flaws I found with the 2015 Axia. So let's begin. Rear wiper and boot release. Starting off with the rear wiper, Perodua is still using the same size blade all along, which is unfortunate as a slightly longer blade works no problem and doesn't harm the aesthetics. A longer blade would wipe the rear window better. The 2017 facelift saw the replacement of both the keyhole on the boot and the boot release lever in the driver's footwell with a pull-up handle integrated into the tailgate itself. It isn't a pretty sight, definitely looks like an afterthought. However, the opening of the boot with this method is far more convenient than with the old methods. The material covering the boot floor and partial shelf also remains the same since launch. I've been informed that this material can be considered industry standard, so I guess this is the most we can expect, something that is very difficult to clean. The implementation of the 3-point seatbelt for the middle rear passenger also remains the same, meaning to say keeping it away is complicated, and if you're rough, you'll find a plastic panel to come out too easily. I would suggest leaving the 3-point seatbelt forever in place. Boot. The boot itself hasn't changed much. Accessing the spare tire is difficult due to the shape of the wooden back boot floor, and the load lip is still evident. Though I guess since a false boot floor doesn't exist on the more expensive Myvi, I doubt a false boot floor will ever be present in an Axia. Rear headrest. When I sat in a 2019 Axia for the first time, this was the most memorable improvement the car had over a 2014 Axia. I later discovered that this improvement was first introduced in the 2017 facelift. The rear fixed headrests no longer stick out. This simple change makes such a big difference. Tissue holder. The 2014 Axia had a neatly integrated tissue holder compartment embedded into the front passenger seat. The space was a little limited. A regular sized cardboard tissue box would struggle to fit, but a smaller, albeit less common plastic box tissue box fit no problem. So it was a little unfortunate that in 2017 Perodua omitted this neat feature for a regular seat back pocket. Instrument cluster. The instrument cluster remains unchanged from launch with the 2017 facelift model. However, for the 2019 facelift model, the instrument cluster got updated. The hood surrounding the speedometer is finally gone. Allows for both the rev counter and multi-information display to be more visible. This improvement is more beneficial to the driver rather than passengers, as passengers will still struggle to see the instrument cluster, not helped with the reduced font size. Also, the 200 km/h top speed is rather optimistic. The fastest an Axia can achieve is no more than 160 km/h, and an Axia at that speed is highly not recommended. Safety was never really an issue for the Axia. The vehicle structure is strong enough to score a 4-star ASEAN NCAP rating in 2014. Perodua made ABS available on the Standard G variant in 2016 and most impressively introduced vehicle stability control and a suite of advanced safety features in 2019. Yes, ABS is not available in the Standard E variant, and the 2017 range lacked vehicle stability control. Vehicle stability control by 2017 had fast become ever more important. Vehicle stability control for the 2019 range is only offered on the G Extra variant up, but honestly I'm fine with all of this. Storage spaces. Even though the bezel's glove compartment is better shaped, and the space beside the 12-volt socket is too shallow in the Axia, fixing these issues would require remolding the entire dashboard, and that is highly unexpected to happen with a facelift exercise. What would be more possible is bringing the front half of the center console from the bezel to the Axia. The bezel has a very useful storage compartment after the front two cup holders, and makes good use of a space in the Axia that's just a void of emptiness. Aircon controls. So while the finish of the aircon knobs have changed, a glossy black finish was introduced with the 2019 facelift, the design remains the same, only if the part of the knob where your fingers grip onto stuck out more. Adjusting between the different modes, temperature, and fan speed would be then more comfortable. This is one of the more apparent ways Perodua has gone backwards from predecessors. Older models like the Kalisa and Viva had more ergonomically designed aircon knobs, and it does baffle me why Perodua has not remolded the Axia knobs. Players. The 2017 facelift introduced new players for all variants with player. 2017 players were carried forward to the 2019 range except for the advanced player. Perodua fixed the issue of the small radio buttons, making operation of the player easier. However, they traded the physical knob for up and down buttons, which, while more aesthetically pleasing, is less functional. Thankfully, this trade-off is only applied to the standard and style variant. The SE variant gets to keep its volume knob. Wasted space remains an issue. A larger screen would allow for bigger text and could make operation of the player easier for older customers with degraded eyesight. To keep up with the times, Perodua has omitted the inclusion of a CD player with the standard and SE variants in the 2017 and in 2019 with the advanced variant. However, I feel that that's where they stopped thinking about modern trends, as phone connectivity is really lacking. It's disappointing considering Perodua boasted a then high-tech useful feature called the audiophone in the early 2000s with the Kalisa and Gambara, which allowed mobile phones from back then to be connected to the car's built-in speakers. The CD function was effectively replaced with a USB port on the standard model player. While USB connectivity is more modern than optical disc, it is no longer the latest and greatest way to listen to music. It doesn't help that the USB port is only for data transfer, no charging mobile devices here. An aux jack is completely absent on all variants disregarding the model year. You may see a blank hole on the bottom right of the standard players, but this is where the microphone for Bluetooth would go on the SE player. Speaking of which, Bluetooth connectivity continues to be only available on the SE variant, and the advanced variant SmartLink feature, which allows for your smartphone to be mirrored onto the touchscreen head unit screen, only supports phones running Android versions from 5 years ago. It would have been great if the facelift 2019 models either had Bluetooth as a standard feature or introduced auxiliary jack. NVH. Noise, vibration, and harshness have become largely untouched since 2014. In 2017, the option for a 4-cylinder engine was introduced in the Asia's Indonesian siblings, the Alia and Agya. However, an extra cylinder would reduce vibration, which was not the Asia's main refinement problem. It was rather noise level. On a side note, the 2017 facelift Asia's introduced new variable valve timing technology. Main benefit is not more power, but rather better fuel efficiency. Electric windows. An automatic up window for the driver still remains absent unfortunately. The Bezza does have this feature. So that's it. I've addressed most of the complaints I've had with the 2015 Asia. Overall, Pura didn't make things worse. Rather, they either changed something to something else or in some cases improved some aspects. Obviously, Pura has done other changes to the Asia since 2014. Literally, a design of a car is very apparent and the design of the Asia has been revised throughout the years. However, I will stop here. I won't cover what else has changed on the Asia since 2014. For other changes, I would suggest reading the launch articles from other Malaysian automotive websites of the 2017 and 2019 Asias.